Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Y'all, thank y'all for staying with us. Be down with us tonight. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be down with the flagship show of Ain't No Half Stepping. Of Legacy Internet Radio, which is Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Of course, I teased it in the last segment. Walking in the door is my illustrious co-host of this time slot, Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J's own co-host, my sister S.Y. Butler's here. What's up, girl?
Hello.
How you all doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
I heard you've been misbehaving.
I'm always misbehaving.
You're really going to have to do something with your behavior.
No, I don't.
Either that or, you know what, on Mondays, you're going to sit on this side.
You must be out your mind.
And your mic will be off.
Girl, please. You tripping.
No.
You is.
I'm not
You
tripping.
must be listening to this one right here, the big tattletale. Big tattletale over here talking
What are you
about
pointing
the
for?
big tattletale. Huh?
Why are you pointing? You know that's rude.
I'm rude.
That's true.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to have to fix that.
What you gonna do?
I'm going to warn y'all now. Next
Uh-oh.
week, he's going to have a different attitude because I will be adjusting it.
No, mate.
It will be adjusted.
Nope.
Just letting you know.
Nope. Sorry. I can't.
That's so like you.
It is. I'm being feisty today. I'm sorry. We wasn't here last week, so we didn't have an opportunity to hang out and be mean to each other last week, so we got to catch up.
So we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. You want to introduce them?
Sure.
Okay.
My special guest is my William.
What's up, Will? What's up, brother? You done made him up. You done made him all shy and stuff. Now, this brother, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna give him a proper introduction since some people.
What?
All right, so every single week, and she didn't hit pop and go. I can't stand her right now. Anyway, this brother right here, we hear not from him, but we hear of him every single week. And of course, if he is fam to the crew, then he is fam of the crew. Then of course that's S.Y.'s. What you call him on the air? My baby, my boo. What you call him and stuff? All that kind of stuff and whatnot. Anyway,
whatever the wind blows.
We haven't had him in studio since our holiday back in December. So without any further ado, I want to welcome back to the den of Legacy Internet Radio our brother, our partner, and our friend. What's up, Will? How you doing, man?
I feel the love. Thank you.
My brother. my brother. Well, it's good to have you. If you hear anything here tonight that tickles your fancy and you choose to grab the mic and put any one of us on the spot, yours truly included, then feel free, my brother. You ready to rock and roll?
Put him on the spot.
I'm on the spot.
That's what it is. All right. So
what
let's.
did I miss so far, though?
Well, we talked about. I'll do a quick recap, and then we're going to jump into the next segment. But the first thing we talked about was a woman who killed her lover because of poor. Well, she didn't kill him. She shot him over poor sex.
Now that's where I want to go.
Okay. Well, let me just kind of sort of set it up. But basically what we ended up finding out when we jumped into the story a little bit, there was the potential possibility of there being some infidelity there. And because his ejaculate wasn't like it was supposed to be, she felt like it was, yes, I know, twisted logic, but she felt like it was some infidelity. But she got history of doing that. Back in 91, she did the same damn thing, and that dude was so scared he ain't filed no charges or nothing.
Wait.
Yes. Yes.
So what was wrong with it?
That's her. That's a picture of her. And so go ahead and make it comment quick because I don't want to go too far back.
Okay, so she shot him.
Yes.
What was wrong with his?
It was there wasn't enough ejaculate, and because there was not enough ejaculate, she felt as though that he was giving his ejaculate to somebody else. That basically set it up, dude. Is that
That's
about
basically
that? Yeah,
it, yeah.
exactly.
So she shot him, and she did it before.
She had done it before to another person back in 1991, but that person was so afraid that they didn't follow up and testify against her, so there was she was never charged. So they're gonna have to
hold on to their business until they get to her. She's just gonna tear them up.
Yes.
Wow, I wanted to hear about that.
Yeah.
I ran through real quick, but I couldn't get everything.
We talked about that. We talked about a dude who is in court for stabbing someone. He said that he didn't want his Negro lawyer. We talked about the NWA movie where they put out a casting call in different tiers, A through D. The A tier was the good, pretty, light skin with straight hair tier, and Dear T was the dark skin, unattractive, nappy haired. And those are my words, but that's essentially what the gist of it was. And then the last thing we talked about was the KKK using the recruiting tool of candy and a nice little message to try to get people in South Carolina. And one thing we didn't mention here, folks, is that that has happened right here in the Richmond, Virginia area. If you remember, in Chesterfield County, a couple of months ago, actually, the Ku Klux Klan had done a recruiting trip. Ain't no how Steppin markets yet, not necessarily with candy, but they were putting flyers in people's mailboxes. And I remember seeing on the news that folks was outraged by it. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us. We know that you are listening to the replay of this show on YouTube, so thank you to those folks. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us live on TuneIn, as well as our family that's checking us out in MixLR, our home group there. Of course, a special shout out to our sister Joy. What's up, Joy?
Hey,
I had an
Joy.
opportunity to see Joy the other day. Every time I get a chance to see her, it's a better day. I'm a better man for it, so I appreciate it. Ain't I Steppin Marks J. All right, y'all. Let's kind of move on and have a little bit more fun. Y'all want to have a little bit more fun? Let's talk about the dude who basically got a super beat down, like the kind of beat down that this is the kind of beat down that you get when you mess with somebody's kids. And basically that's exactly what this dude did. He messed with somebody's kids. Now I can't get a big photo. Hopefully y'all can see the small one. That's a picture of a guy. You see his face is pretty well beat up. If you want to get in on any of the stuff that we're talking about tonight, 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. I'm getting this one from newsone.com. It's a Florida dad who finds a man allegedly sexually assaulting his son. That's what he ended up doing to him. That picture is a result of what happened after Daytona Beach father walked in on the man allegedly sexually battering his 11-year-old son last week. Quote, "I just walked in on a grown man molesting." This is what the father told the dispatcher, "and I got him in a bloody puddle for you, officer." This is what he tells the 911 dispatcher. Daytona Beach Police Chief Mike Chitwood said very simply, quote, "Dad was acting like a dad. I don't see anything we should charge the dad with. You have an 18-year-old who's clearly picked his target, groomed his target, had sex with the victim multiple times." The Daytona Beach News Journal has the full story. I won't read all of it, but I'll just kind of put a couple of things in here. They were responding to the home at 1:07 a.m. Friday after the father called them and found Raymond Frolander, 18, of Holly Hill, lying motionless on the living room floor. Frolander had several knots on his face and was bleeding from his mouth. The 35-year-old unidentified father told police he walked in on Frolander and interrupted him as he was sexually battering the boy. Asked by the dispatcher if any weapons were involved, the father said, "My foot and my fist." "I didn't proceed to ask him any questions, sir," the father said. "He is nice and knocked out on the floor for you. I drug him out to the living room."
Oh my God.
The father was not charged in the beating, the police spokesman said. All right, so that's why I'm gonna have you jump in since you just coming in. I'm gonna have you jump in first on this one. You seen the picture? What's your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm thinking he's pretty lucky. I'm thinking he's real lucky because that's the least that could have happened to him.
Yeah.
He's lucky that's all the guy did.
Yeah.
And you said it was 1 o'clock in the morning?
1:07 is when the 911 call came in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
they said that was his neighbor.
They said that was his neighbor.
Well, how late does the neighbor stay over or come over?
I don't even know what I actually do have an opinion on this one. Diva, what you got?
So, of course, I have questions.
Of course you do.
The dad was
Shocking.
coming home from work. Is that?
It doesn't allude to that.
Okay.
It just says the dad walked in on the assault.
Yeah. I mean,
so
he got what he deserved.
Yeah.
I just think
Raping a little boy.
11-year-old boy. Yeah.
Yeah, that he got what, and he could have gotten worse. I agree. He could have got shot and killed.
Yeah.
He's very lucky.
Yeah,
But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't charge the dad with anything.
Michelle K said he's glad he's got his butt kicked and whatnot. I don't think that there's anything that we can say other than that. Will, you want to jump in on this one?
It was obvious he didn't assault one of my kids because he looks too damn good.
Yeah, but though he would have more than them knots.
You know,
Be laid out in a plastic bag.
well, one thing that bothers me, where was supervision for the child?
Yeah, 11 years old.
Prior to dad coming home. I mean, what are the circumstances? Was the child alone? Was there an older sibling? Was there a mother, another parent, somebody that was supervising this child, or was this dude?
I hope it wasn't the babysitter.
That's what I was
babysitting?
thinking. That might have been why the neighbor was over there. And they said that it had happened a couple of times before, didn't the police officer said that? So
Yeah, and
Wait. So what happened?
that he had evidently been grooming this boy, and it had happened a few
Before,
times
yeah.
before.
It happened before.
See,
and,
now that's the
and
father.
what's the relationship with parent and child that the child didn't talk about this prior
There
to
is
this?
none.
I mean, this.
It can't be one.
I mean, so we applaud this dude for beating up this perp. But what was the parenting? Where was the disconnect in the parenting prior to that escalated got that far?
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I'll say to that is there is precedent for great parents to have children so afraid of their assailant that they just don't talk about it. So I'm not sure that I'm willing to take the leap that the parent was wrong, but I agree with you on it's 1:07 at night and you walk in on it, and is there anybody else in the house? The article doesn't allude to it, neither does the 911 tape. I'd be curious, to steal from my sister, the diva. I do have questions about that. Will, because I agree with you. Who was in the house other than, and it is very possible that mom was down the hall and just didn't hear it, or just didn't show up in the article. It's very possible that, the kid was afraid and let the guy in the house. The article doesn't allude to how he got in there, and the article also does not allude to whether he was alone in the house at the time of the assault. We know John Benet Ramsey disappeared out of a house where her mother and her father was in that house, and
she didn't disappear. She was killed.
Well,
with both parents present in the house.
Her body, yeah. But the point I'm making is somebody got in there. You can think that it was the parents or not, but they weren't charged and convicted of the crime, so we have to let that part go. But the parallel that I'm making is it has happened. It has happened before. Diva,
and we don't know either, even though this is grossly wrong for the man to do this. We don't know if the little boy was groomed and opened the door for him to come in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know all the background details.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible. As sad as it is, it's very possible that that's exactly what happened. So, and how Steppin with Marcus. This next one, I got this article, and it's actually a very funny but not really. Well, sort of funny. I got this one from comedian Lissa P, who co-hosts the Greenville version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P every single Wednesday night from 7 to 9 right here on Legacy Internet Radio. If you want to call us to be down with us on this particular article or any of the other articles, call us at 804-402-2893 to be down with us. This one is about a crowdfunding platform that this girl has tried to do. It's racial comedy, basically. A black woman launches an online fundraiser to raise $135,000 to gain some, quote, white privilege. Now, this is clearly tongue-in-cheek, but some of what she is saying, you kind of can understand where she's going. This idea is the brainchild of GoFundMe user Yaya M. She launched this campaign last week. She's already garnered some support from thousands of people. Quote, although I have layered oppressions that have affected my ability to access my slice of the American pie, no issue has affected me more readily than my lack of white privilege. From being assumed to have cheated my way to programs for gifted children and college via affirmative action, to having my natural hair viewed as unprofessional amongst professional peers, to having people make negative assumptions about my competency levels, interests, and job knowledge, to being viewed as naturally dangerous or threatening, my lack of white privilege has created numerous obstacles as I've struggled to successfully compete in a white-dominated workforce. Yaya's ultimate goal is to raise $135,000, which she says she has calculated based on her work history and the financial disadvantages she has had over the years when compared to whites in the workforce, saying, I've been earning anywhere from 63 to 69% of what a white man makes for the same work since I entered the workforce in 1999. Even if I controlled for part-time work as a teenager and consider increases in pay as I grew older, more experienced, and changed my field, that still averages out to about $9,000 deficit for each year I've been employed. Multiply that by 15 years of hustle and you have my total. So far, she's raised about $5,000 in a week, and for each dollar amount users are willing to give, she has even listed a separate reward of her own, black privilege. If given $5, she snarkily says that she will agree to be the black friend you are referencing when you tell people I'm not racist, I have a black friend. If given a $65 contribution, she writes, she will allow you to touch her hair without asking, enabling you to potentially absorb some of her magical Afro powers. Donations and responses from users have been pouring in, many of them celebrating her stance. There's obviously a lot more here. I think we get the gist of it. I'll just add this one last quote. It was one of my intentions to find a way to foster dialogue about a serious issue in a lighthearted way, and you have all given me faith this is more possible than I could have imagined. And she actually had a quote or a comment from someone who donated. I'm donating because this is the single best crowdfunding site I have ever seen, one woman wrote. Also, white privilege has helped me out a ton, and I've gotten more than enough to share. So obviously that's a white person who has decided. So Bless, I want you to jump in on this one first. What's your thoughts on this one when you hear a story like this?
Well, it's supposed to be in jest, but evidently people are taking it seriously. Or maybe she's actually being serious about this. Yeah, she may be being actually serious about it. But, yeah, there's always... I don't know what to say about it. I don't know.
Is that the girl with the big afro? The
Yes.
little skinny
Yes.
girl that
Yes.
used to be on America's Top Model or something? Is that
This
her?
this is actually a picture of Yaya, not the same.
Oh, no, that's not who I'm
not
thinking.
not just the same name, but this
yeah.
is a photo of the person. If you're curious to know what she looks like, check out my wall, Marcus J, or the Ain't No How. Actually, check out the Ain't No How Steppin Marcus J page, and you'll get a link to it.
But white privilege ain't gonna take you so far when your skin is still brown. I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, I like the part where she says that it's in jest, but she was looking to open dialogue. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why she did this, is to bring attention to an obvious social problem. So I applaud her for it. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be funny, but at the same time, it's real. It's real life.
Yeah, I think the key to this is a lot of our white brothers and sisters don't realize that white privilege is real. And when someone black talks about it, it's knock it off, you've had the same opportunities that I've had. No, I don't. You've got a huge head start. And all of the I guess they say old money, all that old money that your family has, it was created on the backs of my family. And so when we talk about how we are on the same plane, we're not on the same plane. That's why affirmative action was so important. So when you see, some of her quotes here, for me being assumed to have cheated my way to programs with gifted children in college, to having my natural hair viewed as unprofessional amongst professional peers, to having people make negative assumptions about my competency levels, interests, and job knowledge, and to being viewed as naturally dangerous. That's real, man. And I think, I said this when we were live 2 weeks ago. Some white folk, man, while I can, part of me can empathize with your ignorance, I don't view your ignorance as a tool to you to get over. It's not okay to be ignorant. I can empathize being ignorant to stuff because, of course, there's a ton of stuff that I don't know about. But you got to educate yourself if you care. If you care. If you don't care, then it is what it is. But if you care, don't try to tell me that you understand, because you don't. And this happens. And I talked about this before. I got profiled in my own courtyard of a place that I rent by someone who rents just like I do. Think about that for a second. So when you want to say that something like this is out of line and how dare she do that and all that kind of stuff, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who are going to say, there's going to be plenty of black people that's going to do it, because the truth of the matter is we are our own biggest opponent. We are so quick to not want to support each other and be so quick to jump on the side of the enemy that it just pisses me off so bad I don't even know what to do with myself. But that's crazy. That's why I'll give you the final word on this one. Any final thoughts on Miss Yaya running her crowdfunding?
No.
What do you think? I mean, do you think that it's silly? Do you think that it's not silly?
I'm actually thinking that it's a joke.
Yeah.
And lucky for her, she's getting a few dollars out of it. But I think it's a joke.
Yeah. Well,
that's how I take it.
Ain't no how to step on Marcus J. All right, listen. This next one, we talked a minute ago about white privilege, through that particular article. But then this next one is kind of the flip side of that, because it's about a dude who felt so strongly about wanting to support the black community that he took a very odd path towards making his point. I'm getting this one from news1.com. It's a white preacher who set himself on fire to inspire justice for blacks. Retired pastor, a white dude, Charles Moore, set himself on fire on June 23rd at Grand Saline, Texas Step Mall parking lot. He was reportedly praying that his act of suicide did not go in vain. Moore, who had dedicated his life to fighting against racism, left behind a suicide note that reportedly states that he decided to kill himself because he was haunted by the yesteryear lynchings of black Americans and wanted his death to inspire social reform. 79-year-old United Methodist clergyman's note, which was left on the vehicle's windshield, reportedly stated, quote, many, and he says African Americans, I almost never use that phrase, many blacks were lynched around here. I have decided to join them by giving my body to be burned. According to police, the Harvard Divinity School graduate drove to the parking lot of the dollar store, the very same hometown where racism reigned supreme and lynchings were common. See, the letter that he left, and I'm skipping around, I want to get to some meaty parts before we start talking about it. Letter that he left behind described how the cruel and inhumane racist act he had witnessed as a young child never stopped troubling his soul. When I was about 10 years old, this is a quote, when I was about 10 years old, some friends and I were walking down the road towards a creek to catch some fish when a man called Uncle Billy stopped us, called us into his home for a drink of water, but his real purpose was to cheerily tell us about helping to kill some N-words and put their heads up on a pole. Section of Grand Saline, maybe still is called Pole Town, where the heads were displayed. It was years later before he actually knew what it meant. Again, there's more here, and I think we've got enough to get into. Well, I want you to jump in on this one first. You've heard the setup here. What you think, man?
First thing that jumped in my mind was white guilt. In its most extreme form, and to be honest with you, I feel more exploited than supported by this disturbed individual. I mean, what's this guy's history? I mean, does this guy have any history of helping?
I'd be curious to know if he has
helping folk.
Yeah.
But this is really sad, actually, and like I said, the first thing that jumped in my mind it speaks of some type of mental illness that this individual had. It's sad that this man decided that he's going to take his life for that. And he was a divinity student.
He was a clergyman, a Methodist clergyman. He's a clergyman.
He clearly understands through the Christian Bible that suicide is an aberration. Yeah. An abomination in the eyes of the Christian God. So, that's. It doesn't make sense. It's a sad story, actually.
Diva, jump in here. What's your thoughts?
When I first saw the story, I just felt like, wow, you just took your life for nothing. I mean, I don't feel like anything will be affected. I don't think anything will change. He prayed that his life would not go in vain, but I think it has. I mean, did anybody make an uproar or protest or do anything after he set his body on fire in the parking lot? I mean, I think it was a sad event.
What you think,
for
Bless?
nothing.
Bless, what do you think?
Like I said, I just hope that, whatever guilt that he felt in the afterlife, hopefully some of that has been, I don't know, it's gone away. I don't know. I can't see myself. I understand what my ancestors may have done. You give money to organizations, you help out other nationalities or whatnot when you feel that sort of way. But to kill myself, yeah, I kind of agree with Will that he may have had some sort of mental issues himself.
That's why.
Really, that's the only thing that's going to come out of it is he was a disturbed individual. Maybe. Because really, I think it was guilt as well. But the only thing that's going to follow by it, he was just not in his right mind for whatever reason.
Right.
And that might be the reason that he was not in his right frame of mind.
Yeah, I agree. That's that with Marcus J. I think Will set it off perfectly with the first thing out of your mouth. I think it's some white guilt here. And right along with white privilege, how they, how our white brothers and sisters can move along in this country with the privilege of having white skin. Oftentimes, many of them, because of that privilege, feel guilty because they know that they've had advantages that others do not have. I'm not looking for a handout. I just want to be treated fairly. That's how I feel. There might be some people that feel differently, but that's how I feel, and that's how people who I affiliate myself feel. So when I see a guy like this basically try to martyr himself and make himself out to be, it's almost, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, so please no one take it that way, but it's almost like he sees himself in a almost like a parallel to a deity or like a Jesus figure. When you give your life, so that others, could be okay. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully no one feels disrespected by that analogy, but that's almost how I see this.
That came to my mind too.
So, okay, good. So I'm not kind of tripping here, because it's like, dude, I get that you're a clergyman, but you're a man, and you don't kill yourself for other people. I don't know of any great architect that would be okay with that. Like, if you believe in God and heaven, and you go to heaven, and you have a discussion with this dude in heaven, if you could be a fly on the wall of the conversation at the gate, be like, you did this, you did these things and it was good, the guy in front of him, you did these things, you was good, and you died on your motorcycle, but you was a great person. All right, you get to come in. You did these things, and you had old age. Okay, you get to come in. You did these things, and you got took out in a real bad situation. You get to come in. Okay, Mr. Methodist clergyman, you set yourself on fire. I mean, think about how silly that sounds. Like, yeah, man, that's like, look, it reminds me of like the cartoons, Tom and Jerry, when they got sent to purgatory and whatnot, and then he had to like do a whole bunch of cool stuff. I think he had to get like Jerry's signature that says he gets to go to heaven before he got to go, and he couldn't get it. That's what's gonna happen to this dude. Like, I just don't see him going to heaven, man. If there's a real heaven above or wherever, he's going to the opposite place. All right, ain't no Steppin Marcus J. Before we jump out of this segment, just want to remind y'all, 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. I know you're listening because I can see you listening. So if you want to be down with us, call us up. I want to thank everybody that's listening to our replays on YouTube, everybody that's listening to us live on TuneIn and MixLR. We appreciate it a lot. Ain't no Steppin Marcus J. We take another break. When we come back, my sister SY is taking over the show, and I like it when she does it, so it's time for her to do so. We still got some what the hell that we're going to get to at the end of the show. We're going to talk about a couple of cases where some folks left their kids places. We got to talk about that because that shit still's happening. And we had the NYPD kill a dude. We cannot get out of the show without talking about that. So before we jump out, that's why I always ask you to tease the listeners. So tease them.
Let me see. Hey, you ever watch that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
That is a funny show.
Yes. That's your tease. Marcus J and the crew. Ain't no Steppin Marcus J. We'll be back in a minute.